Microsoft has officially unveiled the X1's all-digital edition, a diskless version of the company's current generation console, priced at $50 less than the regular X1S. The big reveal came during an Inside X stream today, and the X team says that the all-digital system aims to become the most affordable way to play X1 games. The X1's all-digital is set to retail at $239.99, making it roughly $50 cheaper than the regular X1S. Beyond that, Microsoft says it plans to maintain at least that $50 price difference throughout the console's lifespan, meaning that if the sale drops the price of the 1S, the all-digital price will decrease as well. The all-digital has the exact same inner workings as the regular X1S. The 1TB system is set to launch on May 7th, and will include 3 games: Minecraft, Sea of Thieves, and Forza Horizon 3 right out of the box, and has even asked its development partners to adjust the games to stop people from splashing inordinate amounts of cash, as reported by the Wall Street Journal, and is happy to miss out on revenue to avoid coming across as greedy. CyberAgent Incorporated has confirmed as much. Nintendo is not interested in making a large amount of revenue from a single smartphone game if we managed the game alone. The studio also confirmed that drug-related loss revenue per player has fallen short of initial expectations, and that Nintendo actually told it to alter the game after players complained it was too difficult to unlock rare characters through in-game lotteries. It did tell the Wood that it chats to its partners about various things to deliver high-quality fun to consumers. In the past, the company has also outlined its hope that mobile titles like Super Mario Run, Fire Emblem Heroes, and Animal Crossing Pocket Camp will introduce new players, including those in emerging markets, to some of its biggest franchises. Certainly it's about getting an American child who's tend to have a great Super Mario experience, said outgoing Nintendo of America President Reggie Fils-Aimé in June 2017. China, Korea, that's a key part of our mobile strategy. The game giant's over 100 titles already included in the service, which grants access to a library of downloadable titles, including new first-party releases on launch day, so long as they remain subscribed to the service. For Minecraft, the move could give a boost to the game's already sizable player base. The game itself came out as a very early build in 2009, and developer Mojang was acquired by Microsoft for $2.5 billion 6 years later. As of October 2018, had sold over 150 million copies worldwide. Games for U.S. out of the Brexit deal finds its agreement lacking for game devs. Games for U has put together a breakdown of the Brexit deal the United Kingdom government is set to vote on this month, outlining why the organization says the plan is a raw deal for game developers in the United Kingdom. It's a good resource for devs that have yet to catch up on the latest Brexit development, as the breakdown dives into the specific changes of the deal that would affect game devs in the United Kingdom, and should the plan be approved. That includes topics mentioned in the withdrawal agreement like citizens' rights and border agreements, along with topics from the political declaration, like data protection, the movement of goods and services, mobility and access to talent. The withdrawal agreement is highly dense, at 585 pages, but fundamentally, it deals with relatively basic departure issues, not the practical matters for ongoing business and consumer life. We really need to know Additional tools used during the development process were Hack and Plan, Git Kraken, and Photoshop, MDF, and some 2x2s. We worked thoroughly to keep it as modular as possible. The rope hanging from the ceiling is a 3-phase power cable attached to a pulley system, a spring, and a weight. For the lever, we looked at everything from a hole punch to a waffle iron before finally settling on repurposing an old door handle. Most of the inputs use switches that are routed through either one of two IPAC4 cards, which in turn are hooked up to the PC running everything. Since we wanted this to have analog movement, we strapped a mouse to the side of its axle to track the rotation. By using these materials and more, we managed to slap our arcade booth together in a garage and get it ready for the day. We took inspiration from a song called "Cackle at Man" by Lemon Demon. It sings a tale of a man who assimilated himself into an arcade machine, and whose sole purpose became to challenge anyone who dared put a quarter in him. Once the initial concept of Neon Nemesis was pitched, our entire team fell in love with the image of constructing a booth capable of housing a person inside of it. We still joke about how a simple song became the spark that led us to creating Neon Nemesis. During the early CONCEPTUALYZING phase, we titled it Mastermind. We wanted the person inside of our booth to feel like a classic evil genius, the sort of villain who demonstrates an enormous amount of power by utilizing a great deal of convoluted tools. The result of following this idea left our end product with two vastly contrasting experiences. As a racer, you must fight against those next to you while struggling to survive the level itself. In a high-speed platforming challenge, on the inside, the Nemesis controls the very world around the racers, and must use their tactical skills to employ the tools at their disposal to eliminate all who dare challenge the arcade booth. Before we began imagining the various tools we wanted to create for the Nemesis, we started by making a list of mechanisms we thought would populate the lore of an evil genius. Once we had decided on our list of mechanisms, we began pitching traps and weapons that would synergize with each specific mechanism. Our goal was to draw a connection between the input required to activate each trap weapon to make it clearer for the Nemesis. Our desire was to create a high-speed competitive platforming experience for the racers, one that could easily be disrupted by the power of the Nemesis. While the Nemesis has deadly traps, weapons, and environmental hazards on their side, the racers are only equipped with their own skill, mobility options, and the ability to collect and utilize power-ups. This was a tricky decision for us. It was the most commonly debated subject within our meeting. We came to the conclusion that making it entirely competitive would be harder to balance, but we welcomed the challenge. When we play-tested the alternative, we would often see the racers ahead of the pack required to stop or slow down to allow those behind to catch up. This caused a lull in the game, making it a bit duller for those ahead, and would occasionally leave the Nemesis with little to do. When it becomes every player for themselves, it raises the tension exponentially as time goes on. As the racers progress through the level, we see players pulling every trick out of the book to deal with their opponents. It all boils down to the final confrontation. As towards the end of every match, it comes to that pivotal moment where one or two racers remain close to the finish line. You can tell that the racers, Nemesis, and even the onlookers are on the edge of their seats. This is what makes Neon Nemesis lively and entertaining. The unique controllers of Neon Nemesis set the mood of the game. From the second you sit down inside the lair of the Nemesis, and Surround yourself with the control scheme. You'll truly feel like an evil mastermind. Having a unique input per chap completely separates each tool you have from each other instead of thinking about it as one controller. Use them all as individual components that come together to create something extraordinary, kind of like a cake. And the arcade booth is our oven. It brings every piece of our game together, combining them in the best way possible to create Neon Nemesis. Maciej is at a Signer, programmer and co-founder Red Think Chunk. My game dev career started in 2004 when I was still in college.